Okay, so today we learned how to solve quadratics or graph quadratics in vertex form. So we have two problems here. We want to answer all of the pieces of the question down at the bottom, and then we also want to graph it. Okay, so I'm going to start with some of the pieces. The first thing that I'm going to start with is the vertex, because this is in vertex form. So remember, the vertex is h comma k. So the vertex for the first one is going to be -2, comma -4. Remember, the inside is opposite and the outside is exact. The axis of symmetry then is going to be x equals -2, because it's always going to run through the vertex and it'll be the x coordinate of the vertex. Since we have a negative in the front, that means this is going to open down because it was a reflection. So at this point I'm going to go to transformations, because I know the transformations that occur by looking at the equation. So the first transformation that occurred is that it reflected over the x-axis. That's the negative in front. The +2 tells us that it went left 2 spaces. This is the opposite of what it looks like. So instead of +2 that you see, which would mean right, it's actually -2 and it's left. And then the -4 means that it went down 4 units. Okay? Now, I am going to transform this using the parent function. So this is mom. Those are the points for mom. And now I'm going to take our transformations and I'm going to transform each of those points to figure out what this new graph looks like. So we're going to take this 0, 0 that mom's at, and we're going to reflect it, which stays at 0, 0. Then we are going to go left 2, and we're going to go down 4. So that's going to make that point right there. If I take this point right here and I reflect it, I put it down at -1, and then we go left 2 and down 4, putting that right there. And then if we take this point at 2, 4 and we reflect it, it's going to be right here. If I go left 2 and down 4, it's going to be right here. Now, remember that it is that parabolas or quadratic equations have a line of symmetry that goes through them right here. And so because of that, I really don't have to do the other points towards the left because it's symmetrical. So if the line of symmetry is here, it's going to be 1 space to that point, which means I'd go 1 space the other direction. This is 2 spaces to that point, which means I'd go 2 spaces the other direction. And that gives me my other 2 points. So that's what my graph looks like. Definitely opens down. My vertex is at -2, -4, like I wrote that down. Now the zeros, we actually don't have any zeros. There are none, because zeros are x-intercepts, and this will never cross the x-axis because it's opening down. The domain of all quadratics are -infinity to infinity. Begins on the left at -infinity, ends on the right at -infinity. And then my range for this problem, the lowest number is -infinity. It's coming up from -infinity, and it goes all the way up to -4, and it stops there, and it should be a bracket because you are including -4. Right, if I move on to the next one, my vertex of the next one is going to be -1, 1. Remember, inside is opposite, outside is exact. The axis of symmetry will be x equals -1. This is going to open up because there is no negative in the front that's showing that it reflects. My transformations, I'm going to go to that next. It has a vertical stretch. The stretch, because it's greater than 1, of 2. We go to the left 1 unit, and we move up 1 unit. Okay, so if I were to take mom, these are the points for mom, and I were to transform her, I'm going to take 0, 0 and multiply it by 2, which is still going to be 0. And then I'm going to go left 1 and up 1, which is going to put it here. 1, 1, if I multiply by 2, it's going to end up being at +2 right here. And then left 1 and up 1 would put it here. At 4 right here, I'm going to multiply by 2, which is going to put it all the way up at 8, and then go left 1 and up 1. Okay, so these are the 3 points on the right side of the graph. Remember, there's this axis of symmetry that runs through here. So all I have to do is mirror image that on the other side. So this one's going to be here, and this one's going to be up there. And I have the other side of my graph. Okay, so zeros, if you notice, it's above the x-axis and it's opening up. So again, we have none. It's never going to cross the x-axis. My domain is negative infinity to infinity. And my range is going to start, the very lowest is at positive 1, and it's going to go on forever, which means infinity on the high end. And we're done.